Hi, welcome to my EcoBUZZ. I'm Jessica Gregory, and this week we are searching for some alien invaders. But don't worry, it's not the Hollywood kind. These are invasive species of plants and animals that come into our ecosystems and kind of wreak some havoc for the native species. So come along with me, let's see what we can find today. So you might be wondering what the big deal is about invasive species. Well, an invasive species is a plant or animal that has been introduced into an area, so it's not native to that area. Generally, they're introduced by humans. Because they come from another area, when they get introduced into a new place, they don't have the natural predators that they would normally have and that would normally keep their populations in check. So they can grow without being deterred by anything, and oftentimes they'll outcompete the native species that are there. And some invasives actually will secrete chemicals into the soil that will kill off or deter native plants from growing. And so they can really wreak havoc on an ecosystem and the balance of species, the diversity that is there. So one of the species that I want to talk about today, and we'll talk about more periodically throughout the year, but the one I want to focus on right now is called garlic mustard. And I've just pulled this plant, so obviously it's not very difficult to remove. Thankfully, this is one of the invasive species that can be fairly well controlled if you stay on top of it. Garlic mustard actually it takes 2 years to flower, so this is the second year of this plant's life. The first year it's just a little rosette of leaves on the ground, and then the second year these stems shoot up and it will produce flowers. So you can see that the flowers are white, they have 4 petals each, and these leaves, you can identify it because these leaves are very triangular and very, very jaggedly toothed around the edges. They're attached alternately to the stems here. And you can see behind me, it's kind of taking over this little area behind the fence right here. So garlic mustard was introduced from Europe and Asia, so Central and Western Asia, and some parts of Northern Africa is where it grows natively, but it was introduced here. And so nothing really eats it. There's no real use for it, so it just can grow and take over an area. But again, it's easy to remove, so if you have populations of garlic mustard that you know of nearby, I would recommend just going and pulling them, especially if they're flowering, because one plant can produce hundreds and hundreds of seeds. You can see on this plant right here, there are some seed pods forming already. So this is a really critical time to be able to remove these plants. And I will post on my EcoBUZZ later this week a recipe. If you like basil pesto, well, maybe you should try garlic mustard pesto. If you have a bunch of this near your house, the leaves actually do make a really good pesto. You combine it with olive oil and garlic and some other things. So I'll post a recipe and maybe you can get out and try that. Thanks so much for joining me this week. If you happen to see any of that garlic mustard on your daily or weekly walks, please make sure to just pull it, and if it's flowering, put it in a plastic bag or take it back home and throw it in your trash bin. It has to be contained because if those flowers are open, they can still mature into seeds and then be released by the plant, even if you've already pulled the plant. So just take precautions there. But if you do pull any, thank you, because you are doing your backyard and your local ecosystem a huge favor. All right, have a great week, you guys. Happy naturing.